Okay. Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about on array concept, so which comes under module 3 in CPS, C programming for problem solving. So next we'll see introduction to arrays. Okay, so you may ask the question like, why do we need arrays? So arrays are required for to store and process large volume of similar type of data elements. Imagine that you would like to store the student information, like one student information. If you want to store, you're going to declare one variable. Okay, so if you want to store two student information, then you're going to declare two variable. Similarly, if I ask you to store 100 student of information, you are supposed to declare 100 separate variable, so which is time consuming and as well as which consumes the memory as well. So to avoid that, we go with the array concept. Okay, so here we have the examples like, so you can see here. Okay, so we have considered three examples over here. One is to store roll number of 100 students in a computer's memory. So as I told you, I would like to store 100 student information in a computer memory, so that instead of like declaring the or defining the 100 separate variable, I can just use this statement, that is int roll number 100. Okay, so if you have this array initialization, then you can store all 100 student information. So in detail, I'll tell you what is this int, what is roll number, and what is this 100. Okay. Then second example, to store average marks of 100 students in a computer's memory. So average marks, you know that, okay, student may get in decimal point. For that, I'm going to use the floating point value. Okay, so this is how I'm going to use the floating point value. Once again. Okay. The third example is to store name of one student, that is character name of 25. So 25 is the size. Okay, this is all about introduction to array. So in this, you got to know why we need to use the arrays. Okay, so next we'll move on to the definition of the array. How we can define the array. So array can be defined as, this is very important, you may expect this kind of questions in Viva as well as in examination. So an array can be defined as a collection of related data elements of similar data type stored in a computer's continuous memory. Okay, here this is collection of related data elements. Data element has to be related. If you're talking about student, okay, student data has to be there. If you're talking about employee, then employee data has to be there. And similar data type, okay, data type concept we have already gone through, like integer, floating point, character, double. So there are the data type are, so here it should be a similar data type. Okay, finally what we are going to do, we are going to store in a computer's continuous memory. Okay, so this is the how we can define the array. Next is the data elements can be processed by using a common name and different index value that starts from 0 and ends with array size -1. So you remember always array index value of the array will be always start with the 0. Okay, and it always ends with the array size -1. So in this slide, we have gone through how we can define the array and how data elements can be processed by using the array. Okay, next. So this is one example. Just look at this example, so your doubts will be clear. Here, the first example, an array to store 100 integer value. So we are going to store what? 100 integer value. How we can define that? Int a of 100 end with semicolon. So this how you can show it in a computer continuous memory location. So here index, or we can call it as a subscript. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 99. So why 99? Because we have taken 100 here. Okay, so why 99 means, as I told you, array index value always start with what? 0. Okay, so that is why we have taken 0 to 99. Fine. Okay, next. So here A is what? A is the name of the array. Okay, so A is the name of the array and this is the index value. So second example, where we are going to store an array to store 100 what? Floating point numbers. Okay, so how we can define that? Float B of 100. So here array name we have taken B. What is the size? Size is 100. Okay, remember always it should end with semicolon. Okay, so here the index value is what? 0 to 99. You know why I have taken from 0 to 99. Okay, so name of the variable is B here. Then third example, an array to store name of a single student. So here character name 25. 25 is the size. We are going to store what? Single student name in this. How we can denote represent in the memory location? Index value name. Okay, and remember name always end with the null character. Okay, so in next further slide we can see how actually we can represent the name in a array by using the array. The next is an array to store a book name. Book also one of the character, I mean string. So index value and book name. Book name always end with the null character. Okay, this is simple example. Then coming to the types of the array. The arrays can be classified according to the volume of data to be stored in a computer's memory. So we have huge amount of data. So volume of data is nothing but what? Data is in the huge amount of data form. Okay, so that is how we call it as a volume of data that is stored in a computer's memory. Remember, we are talking about the structured data. I mean similar data type. Okay, so here there are three classifications are there. The first classification is what? One-dimensional array. One-dimensional array can be represented like this, int a of 100. Okay, we have just seen the example. Then second classification is two-dimensional array. How we can denote the two-dimensional array? Int a of 100 and 100. Okay, I'll tell you what is this. This is row and this is column value. Okay, and third one is multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array, this is how we can represent. So actually multi-dimensional array, which is not there for your syllabus. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to focus on the first two, that is one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array, isn't it? Okay, fine. So in this slide, we have seen that what are the types of the array. Remember, types of the array, they're classified based on the volume of data to be stored in a computer memory. Okay, next. Okay, so now we can see in detail how this one-dimensional array works. The definition of the one-dimensional array is same as the how we can define array. Okay, I'll just read it once again. An array can be defined as a collection of related data elements of similar data type. Okay, we have gone through this, remember? Okay, stored in a computer's continuous memory. Okay, it should be what? Collection of related data elements of similar data type. If you're talking about integer, it should be integer only. If you're talking about float, it should be float only. Okay. The data element can be processed by using a common name. Okay, name can be common, but different index value that starts from 0 and ends with the array size -1. Okay, so we have seen this example. The array name is what? That is a common. If you have taken A will be common for all, but different index value, or we can call it as a subscript. Okay, so different index value, like it start with the 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, like if you take 100 number, then 0 to 99. But that is why we have called it as a array size -1. If the size of the array is 100, okay, it starts from 0 and ends with array size -1. Okay, it helps to store and process linear list of data elements. Okay, array, one-dimensional array, that is used for what? Helps to store and process linear list of data elements. Next, in one-dimensional array, we can see declaration of one-dimensional array, how we can declare one-dimensional array. So the one-dimensional array must be declared and defined. The one-dimensional array. Okay. Declaration of one-dimensional array. So first we can see how we can declare the one-dimensional array. The one-dimensional array must be declared or defined in the declaration part of the main before the array. Okay. The syntax for declaration of one-dimensional array is what? Just look at over here. What is that? What is there first? Data type, then array name, then size. Okay. So data type can be what? It can be any kind of data, integer, float, character, double. Okay. Array name. Array name can be like A, B, C, whatever name you can take. Okay. Then come to the size. The size of the array is nothing but it is an integer constant. Okay. It can be like where we can store maximum data element. It means that if we store A of 100, okay, maximum how many data element you can store? 100. Okay. It depends upon how much size you're going to give. Suppose if you would have given like only 10, okay, array name is A and 10 you have given, then you can able to store only 10 data elements. Okay. So this is what? Declaration of one-dimensional array. Next, we can see examples. Okay. This is the examples for the one-dimensional array. So int A of 5 is there. Okay, listen here. Int A of 5 means int is what? It is a data type. A is what? A is a array name. And 5 is what? That is size of the array. Okay. The maximum how many data elements we can store here? 5. Okay. So this array declaration can be shown in memory location in this form. That is, when we have the size 5, the index value will be 0 to 4. Why 4? Because we have taken 0 to array size minus 1. Array size minus 1 is nothing but what? 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1, that will be 4. So that is 0 to 4. The next value of, name of the array is what? A here. Okay, similarly, float price 5, end with semicolon. So in this, how we can show this? We can show like index value will be start from 0 to 4. Okay, because size is 5. Then what is the name of the array? Price. Okay, then third one, double result 5. So index value, it is also start from 0 to 4. Then the name of the array will be result. Then another example, that is character name 5. So character name 5 means, don't think that, okay, we are going to store 5 names of the array. We are going to store only one name of the maximum size will be 5. Okay, so that is index value, that is 0 to 4. Then name of the array will be name. Character city 5. So the array name is city and index value it is also 0 to 4. So this is an example for what? One-dimensional array. So why it is called it as a one-dimensional array means we have taken here only one value. Okay, size is there, no? So size we have taken only one value. Whereas in two-dimensional we are going to take one more value, that is two size. That is one is for row and another one is for column. Okay, fine. Next we can see initialization of one-dimensional array. We can like we have gone through like how we can declare. Next, the next part is initialization. Initialization is nothing but the process of assigning the value to the defined array elements is called initialization of array. Okay, so the process of assigning the values to the defined array elements, int a of 5, okay, it is already defined. So in that a of 5, we are going to have the hello, is it audible? We are going to have the process, sorry, the process of assigning the value to the defined array elements is called initialization of array. Int a of 5 we have taken in the previous slide. So int a of 5, that is a declaration. Okay, initialization means we are going to have the value for that. Okay, we can see how we can assign the value for the each one. The array can be initialized with the values in the following two ways. One is compiler time array initialization, then another one is runtime array initialization. So compile time and runtime, there are two kinds of array initializations are there. We'll see one by one. Compile time array initialization. Here, the programmer already know the value. Okay, it means that the compile time array initialization can be used when values are well known by the programmers. Okay, suppose I know, okay, in the classroom, I have only 100 students. Okay, I would like to store only 100 students data. If that is the case, then the programmer can go with the compile time array initialization. Okay, it is the process of assigning the values during the declaration of arrays in the declaration part of main is called compile time initialization. It's very simple. It's the process of assigning the values during the declaration of array. So during the declaration only we are going to assign the what is the size of the array. So that is why we call it as a compile time array initialization. The syntax of the compile time array initialization is data type, array name, then size. So this is common for the one-dimensional array, remember? Okay, so here this is the syntax for what? One-dimensional array. With that, how we can initialize means this remains same, that is data type, array name, and size, that is equal to list of values separated by commas. Remember this. So this is what syntax for the compile time array initialization. So data type can be any kind of data. It can be integer, it can be double, it can be character. Array name can be any name given by the user. And as I told you, size is what? It is a constant which contains the maximum data elements. And that is equal to what? List of values separated by commas. Okay. So once we see the example, you'll get an idea how we can initialize the array. Okay. Here the first example, which talks about int a of 5, that is equal to, open the flower bracket, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So how many elements are there? Total 5 elements are there, because the size which you have given here is what? 5. So maximum I can have how many elements? 5, not more than that. If you want to insert 60, you cannot, because size is 5. So you may ask the question like, okay, suppose if the size is 5, if I would like to insert only 3 elements, okay, fine, no issues. Okay, you can insert only 3 elements. But the thing is that maximum, I'm talking about maximum size. Okay, so the same initialization can be written in this form also. So this means a of 0, you know that array initialization, it always starts from the index value, that is 0 to 4. So a of 0 will be what? 10. A of 1 will be 20. Okay. A of 2 will be 30. A of 3 will be 40. A of 4 will be 50. Okay. So when you initialize like this, okay, it takes in this form only. A of 0th position will be, we are going to store 10 value. Okay. The same thing how we can represent in the memory location, that is index value. Index value, that is 0 and array size minus 1. So we have the array size that is 5. That's why we have taken 0 to 4. Okay. So next, what is the name of the array? Name of the array is A. Okay. Name of the array is A, and values are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Is that clear? Okay. The second example is float price 5. Okay. So remember, the data type here is float. And that's why we have taken in decimal point. 55.5, 0.99, sorry, 55.50, 99.50, 100.50, 75.60, 50.60. These all are fractional part. Okay, so that is why we have used the data type float. The same how we can represent in the memory location. This is the index value and this is the price. I just copied this here. Okay, 55.50, that is first one. The last element, that is 50.60. Clear? Okay, then third example, that is character name of 5. Okay, the name we have taken John here. The same thing how we can like declare here, character name of 5, John, John. So John, it is a string. You know what do you mean by string? String is a collection of characters. Okay, that is end with the null. I was talking about like it is end with the null. So here in the memory location, we have shown like that is character name that is equal to John. Okay, so index value that is 0 to 4. Why? Because size we have taken the 5. Okay, name is John. It ends with what? Null character. Remember, string always end with the null character. Okay, then next, second kind of array initialization is what? Runtime array initialization. Okay, so in the previous case, the programmer known the value. Okay, so before he execute the program, that is why he can make use of the compile time array initialization. Runtime array initialization means if the values are not known by the programmers in advance, then the programmer makes the use of the runtime initialization. So I don't know, like, okay, suppose there is a MNC is there, okay, organization is there. The person, he doesn't know like how many members are there. Okay, imagine that, okay, there is a temple. So we don't know exactly like how many like visitors are going to visit. If that is the case, then we can go with the runtime array initialization. Okay, so it helps the programmers to read unknown values from the end users of a program by the keyboard by using input functions like scanf, getch, and gets, etc. So the moment if I get to know like, okay, oh, this is number of count, okay, then I'm going to have that modification in my program. So if I see one example, then you'll get to know how actually this runtime array initialization is going to work. Okay, fine. So we'll have one simple example, okay, for the runtime array initialization. So here, to read and display 5 integers, 5 integer value from keyboard by using an array. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read any 5 integer and I'm going to display those values. Clear? Okay. So these two are what? Header files. Hash include stdio.h that I have used for like, because the functions which I used printf and scanf in the main program, and conio.h I have used for the clear screen. Okay, so void main, this is program execution always start from what? Void main, and this is a declaration part. Int a of 5. Remember here, a of 5 is what? A is the array name and 5 is what? The size. Okay, the maximum size which you have allocated here. So you may ask a question like, suppose if I want to enter instead of 5, if I want to enter 100 number. Okay, fine, no problem. You can modify here int a of 100 in the program itself. Okay, so we have taken for the for loop. Okay, so that is for iteration purpose. I'll tell you what is the importance of the IO here. Printf, that is enter any 5 integer value. Okay, what the question is to read and display 5 integer values from the keyboard by using an array. So that is why I have taken enter any 5 integer. I need to read 5 integer. Okay, for reading, I use the for loop. Okay, so initially I value will be start with 0. I less than equal to 5. So here you may ask the question like, I less than equal to 5 is there, but 5 integer value I am supposed to read. Okay, you may ask the question like, it should be I less than or equal to 5. No sir, no. Why? Because I have taken the index value from where? From 0 to 5, isn't it? So 0 to 5 means what? 0 to, sorry, 0 to 4 I'm supposed to take. If 4, it should be less than 5. Understood? 0 to 4. I less than 5 means what? It should be I value must be 4. Okay. So 0 to 4. Then I will be incremented. So this is for reading the values from the keyboard. So I'm reading ampersand AF5 means I'm reading the value. Fine. So there is one more for loop is there. This for loop for reading the data from the keyboard, okay, from the user. And this for loop is for what? Displaying the whatever the data which read by the what? User. Clear? Okay. So here also I'll be having this for loop. In this for loop, I'm going to display the data that is from 0th index to the index 4. Okay. So this is for displaying the data. Imagine that, okay, enter any 5 integer value. So enter any 5 integer value. I'm going to enter the 5 value from the keyboard. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay. So these value, okay, which user is going to give? Remember this. Okay. These 5 values user is going to give. So 10 will be in a of 0th position. 20 will be in A of 1 position. 30 will be A of 2th position, 40 will be A of 3 position, and 50 will be A of 4th position. So that is why the index value we have taken from 0 to 4. Understood? So this is a simple example for what? Which kind of initialization? Runtime array initialization. Okay. So we have gone through what is array, how we can define the array, how we can declare the array, and classification of the array. There are 2 kinds of classification, that is three kinds of classification: 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and multi-dimensional array. Okay. So here in this array initialization also we have seen 2 kinds: runtime array initialization, then compile time array initialization. The important question that you can expect from this topic is, what is 1-dimensional array? Explain its declaration. Declaration we have seen how we can declare, and initialization. Okay, we have seen the initialization, that is syntax of the initialization, and example for the initialization. And there are, as I told you, there are 2 kind of initializations are there. What are those? One is compile time array initialization, then another one is runtime array initialization with the syntax. Okay, syntax is there for initialization as well as the declaration. And examples, we have seen the examples, programming example. So in that programming example, in the previous case, we have seen read and display 5 integer values from a keyboard by using an array. Okay, so this is an important question they are asked many times. Please do practice. Like one more thing is that definition of the array and definition of 1-dimensional array, both are same only. Okay, so just have a practice like syntax, declaration, initialization, and programming example in this. Okay, thank you so much.